Will this come up like under your channels or just straight up on your?
It should be coming up any second.
Okay. Just give it a refresh every once in a while. Oh, here it is. It just popped up.
All right. Cool. We should be live.
Alrighty. I got picture, I got sound. We do know that Rob has a little bit of a buzzing.
It's always something.
So
Okay,
so
yeah, I apologize, guys. Apparently, there's a little bit of a buzzing coming in through my microphone. I'm gonna have to figure out what it is, but yeah, it's
a
always
little
something. So
buzzing echo thing.
is it? Yeah, but anyway, welcome to Neuroculture Class, guys. I apologize for the week we missed last week. I was not feeling well. In fact, I was not feeling well so much that I didn't even tell anybody that we weren't doing anything. But
That's pretty
welcome.
bad.
Is it really bad?
No, I meant last week. You
Oh yeah,
that's really
dude.
bad if you can't even tell anybody you're so.
Yeah, but anyway, yeah, welcome to Nerd Culture Class, guys. It's a show where we talk about some of the interesting things going on in nerd news, but usually not going off on some random tangent because that's just kind of the way we do it. We're old and our minds wander.
Hello,
But
Dylan Draws.
what's up, Dillard? This buzzing is outrageous. 0 out of 10 audio would not bang. I'm telling you, man. I can't. That's the thing is I can't adjust for it because I can't hear it. So I've got so many things pumping through different things. It's probably just there are two things that are probably overlapping each other is what the problem is, but I'll figure it out eventually. But anyway, again, I'm your host, Comic Book Bob, and joining me as always is my co-host for Nerd Culture Class, Tom the Immortal Cummings.
That's me.
And again, since it's the Halloween season and we're doing Halloween stuff. So today we are talking about our favorite horror tabletop games. So when we talk about tabletop games,
Yay!
yeah, yeah, this is something that we actually have a lot about. We know a lot about because
Yep.
we play a lot of tabletop stuff. But we decided that for this particular genre, if you will, we're going to include all tabletop games. That includes card games, CCG games, board games, and role playing games. But before we get into that, how was your week, Tom?
My week wasn't bad. I actually went down to St. Clairsville to NSO for roller derby on Saturday. It was kind of a mess. We couldn't get any computers to work, so we like had to do like scoreboard and everything by hand, just whiteboard drawing and stuff. It was a mess, but we made it through it. So
Yeah,
yay!
I keep saying that one of these days I'm going to catch this one of these um one of these matches of yours. But
Yeah. Got to
yeah,
come
you
down
know.
on the 23rd of November. Come down to the annual charity bout. Halftime is full contact musical chairs. Always fun.
Okay, when you say in full contact musical chairs, I'm getting like WWE vibes.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
thinking they're gonna like they're gonna pop each other in the head with freaking metal chairs and stuff. Dropping
Well, they
elbows and
they
crap.
haven't popped each other with chairs, but when they're fighting over the chairs and two of them have hold of one and neither one will give up, it gets pretty intense.
I'd like to apologize to
So,
all of our viewers for the carnage that's about to ensue. But okay, let's go ahead. We got a lot of stuff to cover, so we're gonna go ahead and jump right into it. And the first thing I want to talk about is Steam's sale dates have leaked. So if you're into video games or whatnot, everybody pretty much plays Steam, and you know that they have these sales where they put all their games up for ridiculously low prices. And this year the dates actually leaked a little early. So see here. So for the Halloween sale, which is actually going to be starting here in a couple of days, it's actually going to start on the 28th. So if you're looking at like any video games, because I do play some games on here every once in a while, which I haven't done in a while, but I'm going to be doing here again soon. Most of the games that I play, they just had like a big update and everything, so that's kind of where I kind of put those off. But yeah, wait till October 28th, because the chances are that stuff's going to go on sale for really cheap. I know that every time they have one of these sales, the games that I play, like 7 Days to Die and Battle Chasers, Night War, they get, like, at the very least, they get cut in half. So they go from, it goes from $20 to like 10. But some games, I've seen some games go for ridiculous prices. Like normally they go for like $40, you can get them for 5.
Wow.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And this time of the year, they have like as you can see on the screen here, they have like 3 in a row. So you're gonna have one from October 28th to November 1st. Then the autumn sale is gonna be from November 26th to December 3rd. That one's actually gonna last. That one in the Christmas sale lasts the longest. I think the autumn sale is like a week, and then the winter sale is like 2 weeks. So a lot of stuff goes on sale, and then December 19th through January 2nd for the winter sale. But this is the time of year where it's like they always like, if you're gonna buy a game, wait till one of these sales happens, because you get them dirt cheap. And yeah, so I thought I'd go over that real quick, and
Cool.
I'll probably be buying more games than I never play. Seriously, I've got like
A problem?
50. I've got like, yeah, well, yeah. I've got like 50 games, like at least 50 games, and I've played like 3 of them. So, but okay, but actually, the next thing that I didn't even realize they were going to do this, but and it kind of ties into what we're going to be talking about here today. But they're making a werewolf video game,
Oh,
Werewolf the Apocalypse. So you know that
that could be interesting.
the Vampire the Masquerade, they had Vampire Bloodlines.
Yeah.
And then they just announced about 6 or 7 months ago, they announced Bloodlines 2. And apparently, I believe it's the same developer. They're going to be doing a vampire version of it. And it looks pretty freaking cool, man. But the developer is Cyanide. They're going to be doing, it's called Werewolf the Apocalypse Earthblood. And it's planned to release. It's actually going to be releasing a lot sooner than I thought it was going to be. It's going to be releasing in summer of 2020.
Oh,
So it's the first.
That could be cool.
It's the first. It's the first video game coming out of White Wolf's properties that isn't vampire. Because there've been what has it been 3 or 4
there's been a
vampire
couple.
games?
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, dude, because you know me, man. Like in our like Tom will vouch me on this. In our little circle, we've played the White Wolf games a lot, but
Yeah.
I'm not really. I love the mythology of vampire. I'm not the biggest fan of the actual game itself, but I love freaking werewolf. Like werewolf, you get to be just a badass. I'm a basic guy, man. Like if I play a monster, I want to play a monster. I want to tear some stuff up.
If there's a problem, punch it in the face.
Yeah, and but yeah, like and there's actually a trailer out for this that you can actually download and take a look at. So yeah, jump on YouTube, type it in there, and take a look at it. But the story is you play a werewolf named Cahill, who was exiled from his tribe, but returns to his tribal home to fight back against the Pentax Corporation. Which, if you guys watched the vampire game they played on Chester Busby's channel, you know who Pentax is.
Perpetual bad guy of
Werewolf, yeah.
Werewolf.
Pentax Corporation, which is destroying his homeland in search of natural resources. So it's basically Werewolf Avatar.
Yeah. Well, I mean, werewolf kind of is. I mean, that's,
oh yeah, dude. I mean, they're the
save the earth kind of people. Or
they're the children of Gaia. So
yeah.
But yeah, I saw this. This actually popped in my feed, and I was like, oh, that's actually kind of cool, and it ties into what we're talking about, which you guys will see here in a minute. But okay. Star Wars releases new The Rise of Skywalker trailer. Supposedly the last trailer. Does anybody care? To be honest, though, I took a look at it. It had a couple of interesting little. It had a couple of interesting things in it, but it also had some stuff where I was like, really? Horses in space? Seriously, dude. There's a scene where they're on horseback, charging across. What looks like they're riding across the top of a Star Destroyer.
Huh.
And I'm like,
Cowboys versus aliens.
okay. Diller Draw says Pentex has quality products for low prices. Can't hate on them for that. Yeah, the only problem is you take some of them home and then they wake up and they eat you.
Yeah, some do that.
But yeah, actually, looking at the poster, I don't understand why they stopped having Drew Struzan do the movie posters. Those things were amazing. They were so good, and instead they go for these. They're basically trying to copy the way that he composes his posters. But they're doing them with these photos, these set photos and stuff from the movies. But I'm looking at this, I'm like, are you deliberately trying to cut her head off? Because it's like you got this whatever, like apparently this new Death Star beam or whatever this thing is, and then the lightsaber.
I think that's just Kylo Ren's lightsaber.
I don't know what the hell it is, but it literally like her head's like right in the middle of it.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is badly composed, but yeah, we got the usual suspects here, and then there, right there, in the middle there, right underneath Chewbacca.
Yeah.
There's a character on a horse. I'm like,
in space.
In space, yeah, whatever, man. But I'm not gonna hate on it. You know, I don't want to be negative, but you know, I would love for this to turn out to be an awesome movie. But yeah, I don't hold out a whole lot of hope.
Diller Draw says horseback. That's almost as cringy as little furry bears fighting the Galactic Empire.
Dude, have you ever listened to any of Kevin Smith's stand up? He's his spoken word stuff.
No, I don't think I actually have.
He did one where like they were doing a I guess was it he did that movie Red State, and the Westboro Baptist Church were gonna picket the movie. So then his brother and some other people decided to put together an anti-picket. So they went to the premiere of the movie too, but they were holding up like crazy signs and stuff. And one dude had a sign. It was an Ewok with a circle slashed through it. It was like the guy was saying, you know, I'm still angry about this. So,
oh.
Kevin Smith mostly sits these days. Well, yeah, dude. I mean, the guy had a heart attack. So, but yeah, I mean, like I said, man, I'm gonna go see it because I got to do a review of it, and but I'm not holding out a whole lot of hope, especially after reading the leaks that were put out about a couple months ago, and then seeing the trailer and seeing that a lot of those leaks look like they were real. And if those leaks are real, oh my god, this movie is going to be awful. But moving into more humorous news, PewDiePie banned in China. So PewDiePie, real name, I'm going to butcher the hell out of this, Felix Kilsberg, confirmed yesterday in a video that he's banned in China. In the video, he explained, "Well, boys, we did it. I'm banned in China. That's right. After I spoke about the Hong Kong protests and showed their leader being mocked for looking like Winnie the Pooh," which he does, "I got banned from China."
An evil Winnie the Pooh, but...
Yeah. That's right. Now, if you search anything PewDiePie related on any Reddit related forum in China or a YouTube related video, it would just be completely blank. Which, and then he goes off to say he laughed it off, which, you know, I mean, what does he care? He's like the biggest YouTuber in the world. And he talks about how the music artist Zed got banned in China because he liked a South Park tweet. That's how you know you live in a totalitarian state, where all you got to do is like a tweet. You don't even gotta say anything about it. You just click. Oh, that's kind of funny. Click like, and bam, the ban hammer comes down. So yeah, memes don't sit too well with with the communist Chinese government, especially Winnie the Pooh related ones. Winnie the Pooh has become a symbol of resistance in China. Protesters and bloggers are using the fictional bear to challenge President President Xi and the Communist Party. Memes pointing out the likeness between the two started back in 2013 during one of Xi's U.S. visits. More of China even refused to release Disney's Christopher Robin movie back in 2018. Mm-hmm. Wow, I didn't know that. Yep. Wow, this dude.
Oh yeah, like... no Pooh.
Yeah, this
Pooh is banned.
But yeah, it's kind of. I just think that's kind of funny. But yeah, unless and then like this is just like more a continuation of this thing that the last 6 months has just completely exploded. Just absolute chaos over there in Hong Kong. What's going on in Hong Kong, and a lot of horror stories coming out of there. But yeah, I just think it's kind of funny that they banned him, and he was just like, "Whatever, man." I ain't sweating it. But the next thing is actually kind of connected to this, because apparently Disney doesn't care. Chinese company Tencent expands reach in Western entertainment markets, partners with Disney. So Disney basically went, "Hey, so you guys are a totalitarian regime, right?" And China says, "Yes." And Disney went, "Cool, we got one of those. Can we have some of that sweet, sweet Chinese money?" So anyway, in the wake of Blizzard Gate, which, man, that's a whole nother story on its own right, a lot of gaming consumers are wondering just where their money is going. It's no secret that China has a heavy stake in the United States entertainment market. Yeah, man, that's actually, I'm going to suggest to Chester, because he does that Tinfoil Talk, which is a conspiracy show. I'm gonna suggest he actually look into the China's investment into the entertainment industry, because man, the more I look into that, the more I realize, wow, these guys are literally just lording over that stuff. But anyway, Chinese companies like Perfect World, who own Cryptic Studios, have been involved in Western gaming for many years. Cryptic Studios has developed the popular MMO game Star Trek Online and Neverwinter. They were also the ones who created one of my favorite superhero, actually, in my opinion, the best superhero MMORPG, which was City of Heroes. And then they killed it, of course. Tencent's reach. Okay, so like I said, you dig into this and find out how much they really control. Look at this. Okay, so right off the bat, League of Legends, which is arguably the biggest video game in the world. They own it. It's theirs, 100%. Riot Games, which is owned by Tencent, owns that game. Shark Mob, Supercell, which is a big, I think the Supercell's a mobile game. Path of Exile, that's another big one. They own 80% of that. Epic, they own 40% of the stock in Epic Games. And Epic just came out as one of the biggest competitors to Steam. So that's really concerning to me. They own 5% of Ubisoft. They own 5%. This is like a no-brainer. They own 5% of Activision Blizzard. Well, duh. It's just like Blizzard games are like was it StarCraft is basically like a national pastime in China, but yeah, the Chinese influence is real, man. But this is the thing that really caught my attention, is the Tencent and Disney. So according to the Hollywood Reporter, Disney and Tencent have agreed to a distribution deal that would bring Star Wars to China. That is not surprising, but it's a little like just like out there. Like Disney's just basically going, yeah, we don't care, we just want the money.
Well, I was about to say, and I'm kind of surprised, China's on board with that, because it is the whole plucky little rebellion against the huge evil empire.
Yeah.
You really want that trope going on?
But I don't know, man. I think China's looking at the idea like, hey, we're gonna get in bed with Disney, and Disney, like, remember, like me and Jim did that thing. We did the little investigative thing about 15 years ago, and found out that all Disney needs to be considered a third world country is to grow like another
More of its
20%,
food.
another 20% of its own food, because they've already got their own navy, which is their Disney Cruise Line. They've got their own Air Force. They've got their own space program, because a lot of people don't know that the top 5 floors of the Epcot Center are actually rented out to NASA. So, and that's like, we've talked about this before. Like, if you get arrested, if you do something in Disney World or Disneyland, you get arrested by Disney cops, you go to Disney jail, and you get arraigned by a Disney judge. And they actually have, throw the book at them, yeah, into the dungeon with you, more blood for the blood god, But yeah, and people don't know this either. They have their own currency too. They have Disney dollars. They literally are almost their own country. But distribution deal is the first of its kind, allowing Tencent's China Literature, the Middle Kingdom's largest ebook and online reading platform, which is completely controlled by the state, by the way, to license and distribute 40 translated Star Wars novels for Chinese readers. I'm sure they won't be redacted in any way whatsoever. The partnership was unveiled in Shanghai last Wednesday. It was also entailed the two companies working together to develop and publish the world's first authorized Star Wars online novel written by a Chinese author, which I'm sure will not be influenced by the government at all. Chinese Literature claims a remarkable 217.1 million active monthly active users across its platform. Yeah, it's like I said, it's because it's controlled by the state, and they're like, you're not allowed to read anything unless it comes through here.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. And here's the other thing. So just again, to let you know how deep this goes, Reddit received a $150 million investment by Tencent earlier this year. Meanwhile, Discord received $158 million in funding last year by Tencent. So you wonder why a lot of stuff and a lot of things are being censored. Right there. That's why. And the concern that we're allowing these foreign interests to come in and, like it says here, shape our culture. That's a real concern, man. And I don't, considering what China does, like the horror stories about human organ harvesting and stuff like that, man. I mean, yeah, bump that. But yeah, I couldn't believe, like I said, the more I look into it, I'm like, man, this thing is like, it really does play like a conspiracy theory. So, but it's real. Yeah, they got their tendrils in there. All right, but moving on to that, something not quite as depressing, but still kind of like, what the hell? Crazed Star Trek Discovery fan threatens Anas Abdeen's life. All right, so if you don't know who Anas Abdeen is, the show Star Trek Discovery bears some very, very, very oddly similar themes and characters and situations to a video game that he made a few years ago. Long story short, they ripped it off. Almost the entire premise for the show, and even like the characters, what they look like, and their personalities, you could put them side by side with the stuff in that video game, and it's damn near identical. Now, I'm one of those people that I don't believe, like every time someone brings one of these things forward, they're like, "You guys ripped me off." I'm like, "Oh, come on, dude, man. It's such a broad story and idea. There's nothing new under the sun. You know what I mean?"
Mm-hmm.
But this was one of those things where it's like, look, man, even the uniforms look alike. So I think he has a legitimate lawsuit. Unfortunately, he lost his lawsuit against CBS, but then again, CBS has all that CBS money, and he's just some little dude. So then recently, he's appealing, and there was a GoFundMe set up to help him raise the money for the appeal, which he did get. And since then, angry Star Trek Discovery fans, people who avidly defend this thing, like I said, the operative part of the word fan is fanatic.
Yep.
They want to kill him. So, um, the CBS trolls came out after this. Says you're being set up for a fall. Please don't listen to these hateful YouTubers. They don't care if you crash and burn over this. And it just kept getting worse and worse. And like here's another one that says you're wrong. You know you're wrong, and instead of addressing it, all you can do is lash out against your critics. CBS didn't copy your lame ass EGA game. Get over yourself, dude. Because this show has so much what's a kind word to put it?
Baggage.
Yeah. um it's attracted a very virulent type of fan. Unfortunately, I mean there are people who legitimately like it just because they like it, but there are those people, and unfortunately those people exist in pretty much every fandom where you say anything bad about it, and they want your throat. And unfortunately, this guy just trying to, it's like, hey, I had this intellectual property that you guys ripped off, and he wants his just due. I mean, and there's stuff in here like you can go through and read this entire article. I'm not gonna do it, but there's stuff in here that I can't say because I will get my channel banned. But they're aiming this stuff at this guy, and this kind of reminds me of the stuff that Peter Samedi from Alternative Comics went through, where like he got swatted. Like they sent cops busting into his house with weapons drawn, thinking that he was murdering his wife. So, but yeah, it's just another example of like it says right here, crazy fans.
Yep.
But we'll close out the news part of this with something at least a little nicer. The Defenders might be making a comeback. If you were a fan of the Marvel and Netflix shows, and I wasn't a fan of all of them. I thought Iron Fist was terrible. Jessica Jones had some okay moments. Same thing with Luke Cage. Daredevil I thought was fantastic. I really liked Daredevil. Daredevil was great, and I would love for Daredevil to come back. And Charlie Cox kind of teased the possibility of that with Daredevil coming back to Disney Plus when he was at at the New York Comic Con tribute to Stan Lee, and he came out and he put on the Matt Murdock glasses, the red glasses, and he also went to a Save Daredevil meetup that weekend, and there was a bunch of people from the MCU. Yeah, same thing. It was like Greg Clark and who plays Agent Coulson, Tom Hiddleston who plays Loki, and there's a lot of push for it. And then some rumors started coming out that some of these characters might show up in future MCU projects. One of them was that Jessica Jones might show up in the next Captain Marvel movie. Don't really care about that, but but yeah, they're starting to get some movement on this, and I would actually like to see Daredevil come back because I thought the Daredevil show was really good. Did you watch any of them?
I haven't seen any of them. No.
Yeah, I would say give Daredevil's the 3 seasons of Daredevil a look.
Okay.
I thought they were really good. The first 2 seasons, well, the first season was really good. Second season was pretty good too. Wasn't as good as the first season, but it was still pretty good. Third season was the weakest, but it was still pretty good. You're never gonna capture that lightning in the bottle from season one. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
But the thing about it I really liked about it was very visceral, very brutal. It was like it was a dude who go out on the street and fighting ninjas, and how messed up you're gonna get doing that. That's pretty much what the show was. But it had a good cast. I really liked Charlie Cox in the role of Matt Murdock, and yeah, I could do with some more Daredevil. So that would be cool. And I wouldn't even mind if they did the rest of the Defenders. They gotta stop making her so damn angsty though. I mean, that was the biggest issue I had with the Jessica Jones series was she has this really brutally emotional arc, but at the end of it, you get the sense that she's beginning to heal and move on and grow as a character, and then the next season she's right back to being exactly what she was. So it's like, oh, this character arc, this growth, yeah, let's crumple it up, throw it in the garbage.
And scene.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, I would very much like to see Daredevil come back. Okay, so all right, that's all the news I got. You got anything, Tom?
Well, the only thing I got was I went to go see Maleficent this weekend.
I'm
If you
sorry.
like the first movie, you should like this one. And if you're going to see it, I suggest seeing it in the theater. It is kind of a big screen movie. Everything good about it is because it's on a big screen. So yeah, plot is just kind of there.
Yeah, it's like we were talking before we launched, and I said so. It's basically, hey, you remember that movie that you guys liked? We made it again.
Yep. Yeah, it was really kind of flat. I mean, yeah, that's it.
So what would you give it? Like a 5 out of 10?
Uh, about a 4.5.
Oh wow, dude, that's that's like one of those. So basically, it's like wait for it to come on Netflix and check it out.
Well, not really, because like I said, it's a big screen movie. If you're going to go see
Oh,
it for the effects, for the scenery, for flying Fae and air battles and stuff. But yeah, watching on a small screen, you're not going to get the same thing out of it.
okay. So it's one of those
So
things where it's like it's really pretty, but it's
it
really
was it
shallow.
was it was fairly pretty, and yeah,
You're not.
like I told you earlier, there were parts of the movie where people like, oh gee, I hope this doesn't happen. And you're like, that's going to happen. Oh, look, it happened. Oh, I really hope this happens, and it happens. And it's just, yeah,
Predictable.
plots. Yeah, it's not only predictable because they didn't have to say, "Oh, gee, I hope this happens." The movie's already you're already on that roller coaster going towards that hill. They didn't need to say, "Oh, there's a hill coming up on this roller coaster," because
You're not doing a very good job of selling this movie, Tom. It
I'm
sounds
not.
it sounds like you didn't like it.
Well, I didn't hate it. I'll give it that.
I
But
didn't
it's
want
yeah,
to. I didn't want to gouge out that part of my brain that had it in memory with a spoon.
yeah. I mean, it's PG-13 because it is at parts kind of violent and a little scary for little kids. But yeah, it's a Disney kids movie with almost all adults and
Stuff
some violence.
and
So
and a bunch of stuff that never happened in the other story.
yeah, which actually I really liked Red's take on that from Overly Sarcastic Productions, because she's like, you've got this perfectly good villain
Yep.
and you make her a sympathetic character, which of course then at the beginning of this movie again she is no longer a sympathetic character, and then by the end of the movie she's the hero again. So
Yeah, it's just like forget everything that happened before.
well,
Forget,
it's the plot's kind of like,
forget.
hey, you're the bad guy. Yeah, that's right, I am the bad guy. Oh, and now I'm the hero.
Yeah, whatever.
So yeah, that's that. On to horror games.
Yeah. All right. So
Yeah.
our topic tonight is our favorite horror tabletop games, and like I said, that includes board games, card games, and role playing games. And we are going to start off with pretty much the biggest granddaddy of them all, Vampire. What the hell happened to the screen?
I don't know.
Why?
Is that your werewolf
No.
teaser?
No, this is actually the
Oh,
vampire
this is.
game.
Oh,
But for some reason, it took the pictures that I had and it put them all the way over here. Oh,
yeah,
I
they're
know
all
what
around the
happened.
side.
I know what happened. It I put some extra pictures in it. Anyway, go ahead, Tom. I'm gonna let you do this one while I do
Ah,
damage control and try to fix my screw up.
Um, well, are you going to cover both? The CGG and
Yep.
okay. Uh, oh, which one to start with? Actually, I'll start with the collectible card game since that was it's a little quicker. I
Okay.
mean, as far as games go, no card games. I like it. I used to have a group that I used to play this with uh, once a week, and they're not kidding when they're like playtime is an hour plus one per player.
Yeah, I remember when we used to play it up at the college, man. And if you
It
had more than 3 players, chances are you
there,
weren't going to finish the game.
yeah. I mean, we would get together. I think we had six or seven players. I think it's actually like a half hour plus a half hour per person, but we were playing for fun, so yeah, it was more like an hour. So yeah, we're talking like a 9 hour game for the ones we actually got to finish. But yeah, we used to play it. It was fun, card game and just sitting around. It's one of those like domino effect games though, like everybody's in the game for a long time, and then once there's a crack and somebody falls, pretty much pretty much everybody's going to go after that.
Yeah. And the other thing too is the way the game was designed. You make alliances.
Yeah.
Unlike in like games like Magic, where you would have group games and you were supposed to, you could only affect the two people that were immediately to your left and your right in a large group game in Magic. In
Hmm.
Vampire, you literally were like, "Hey, let's me and you team up and kill him before he gets X thing out."
Hmm.
And the game was actually designed to do that.
And it is just like a regular vampire game where yeah, you do that. You make alliances, but you trust no one.
Yeah, it's very political, just like the actual tabletop game.
That's like it's kind of like the old game diplomacy. Yeah, you make your allies, you plan your moves, but yeah, you don't stick your neck out for anybody because that's how it gets chopped off or bitten.
Yep. Yeah, and
So,
this came was it Wizards of the Coast put this out after they bought the White Wolf license, right?
mhm. And that yeah, they changed it from because all I have a lot of the original cards, and they're all Jihad cards before they changed the name.
Yeah, because of obvious reasons.
Yeah, because of life.
Yeah. But okay, so that's the card game, and then we already mentioned it a little bit. Let's segue into the actual tabletop game. Which again, if you are a fan of Chester Busby's channel, you saw us actually play I'd say a bit of a truncated version of Vampire the Masquerade,
Mhm.
the actual tabletop game. But it's basically you're a vampire and you exist in a vampire society, but unlike what you would normally think, there's like it's an actual society. It's they have governments, um they have laws, and the mythology behind it's really really cool. That's the one thing I was like I said, I'm not the biggest fan of the actual gameplay of it because I think I just feel I'm not real into the whole political thing. I just feel like sometimes it can be
Mhm.
very restrictive, but
Yeah,
a
if
lot of
if
people
you
really love it.
I say if you want to play that kind of vampire game, play the medieval version of it because then
Hmm.
yeah, it's just D&D where you're a vampire is all that is.
Yeah, pretty much.
But um yeah, especially if you're playing a Camarilla game, yeah, it's very political. Sabat is also a lot more political than people give it credit
Yeah.
for. Than I'm just an evil
Yes.
vampire of the night, and I'm going to run around and do what I want. Yeah, that
Yeah.
that even in
Nope.
Sabat, that doesn't last very long.
Nope. And and like I said, that to me it always felt restrictive. But a lot of people love it, and of course they love the genre itself.
Yeah.
And like I said, the mythology of it is fantastic. Like a really quick breakdown of the mythology. Um,
Oh,
the
first edition.
yeah, first edition. Um, basically, vampires are just like any other race. There are different kinds of vampire. There are different bloodlines, and there's 12 of them altogether.
At least.
Yeah, well, like main ones, and they all have their strengths and their weaknesses and their differences, their unique traits and whatnot. And a lot of it comes from biblical, and it's it's very much steeped in the Abrahamic uh, mythologies, like Lilith. Like Lilith was, depending on which faction you support, the Sabbat or the Camarilla. Lilith and Cain were either the first or second vampire, and the whole thing behind it is you're basically trying to survive in this society, and the only way you do that is you got to play the political game.
Yep.
And and like I said, the different mythologies behind each of the different clans, and like the history and everything, they did a really good job of setting that up.
Hmm.
Fantastic job of setting that up.
And
Like
it's a,
like we always said, this would be an amazing TV series if they actually stuck to the
yeah, not
actual stuff that they did instead of cherry picking it and trying to screw with it.
yeah. Instead of writing a soap opera and then just saying, "Oh, we're gonna make it vampires and we're gonna call it this because that's the big game right now," like
Mm-hmm.
that one show, which sucked so bad.
Which show was that?
Kindred the Embraced
Oh, the
on
original. Yeah, because I thought they said did they make a new one? Yeah, that I there were people that loved that show. I hated that
oh, it
show.
was so bad. Oh
Oh,
God.
everybody had one wolf claw.
Yeah.
And that was the thing
Eh.
too. They took the thing that was so cool about it, the fact that they were all different, and they made them all the same.
Yeah, everybody has the same powers. Everybody can do. Yeah, but they still kept the clans, and it's like, well, why are you gonna do that if? So
Yeah,
yeah, it was just bad.
yeah,
As yeah, we had names for it.
yeah. But okay, so yeah, so that's vampire. Like I said, if you're into that kind of mythology, if you're into that, if you're just into goth stuff, like like if you're into vampires, you're probably gonna love that game. And you're if and like I said, it's so popular that it has actually spawned to one very popular video game, and the sequel to that was just announced. So it's a pretty popular franchise.
Yeah, it's good, and it's. I mean, I've played in it where you make your character. I've also played where it's pre-gen, and it's a very open system. I mean, you can, each clan has its, like their shtick that they do, that you can do
Yeah,
that and you can be very good at it. You can go against that, you can break the mold and it still works. Um, and one of the cool things about it is, with the different clans and stuff, you have your prejudices, your preconceived notions of other people just from what clan they are. Sometimes you're wrong, sometimes you right on it.
yeah,
They live up to their stereotype.
yeah,
So
yeah. I
I've
mean,
always loved the game, both tabletop. I love the card game. Well, the card game was okay. It was a bit, like I said, your evening. If you're playing that game, your
yeah.
evening is done.
Pack a lunch,
Yeah, and
but
also the live action, which I played for years, was pretty damn good.
yep. All right, but then all right. So moving on from that to
Werewolf.
Werewolf, the one that I do like. And by the way, this trailer that you're seeing here, this is the trailer for the video game that was just announced. But so Werewolf again, set in the same universe, all of the different White Wolf properties, vampire, werewolf, mage, wraith, changeling, all of them, they all exist in the same universe.
Well, except for the Scion.
Yeah, well, that's their superhero game.
Yeah.
But and basically, the reason, like I said, the reason I like this is it's a much more visceral game. Like you're playing a freaking werewolf, and you're exactly what it looks like. It's
Tearing stuff up.
you're a big monster, and you're tearing stuff up. And but again, just like vampire, there are different tribes of werewolves. There's the Get of Fenris, which are all like what are they like? They're like Norse, right?
Yeah, Norse warriors.
And they're all female too, right? If I remember
No,
correctly.
that's the Black Furies are
The
the
black
all
the Black
female.
Furies. Okay, yeah. All right. So you got the Get of Fenris. You've got the was it the Red Talon, which are kind of the the loose cannons.
And and
You got the Glass Walkers, who were the city werewolves. You got the Bone Gnars, who are kind of like the lower the the rednecks.
rednecks and homeless
Yeah.
kind of.
And you've got the Silent Striders, which are actually the ones that were in Chester's game. And they are they're basically the warriors of Gaia. They're defenders of the world, of the earth. And so they get a little tree huggy. And
Yeah.
which is why it actually works really well for this game, for that video game, like you said. But yeah, you play a freaking giant furry fanged monster, and you tear crap up, and you hate vampires. um, but yeah, this game I love. I especially like the Wild West. The
Oh
Werewolf
yeah,
Wild
the
West, dude. I loved that because like my character, the character I played was a gunslinger. He was a young gunslinger, and the way the universe works is there are three primal
aspects.
forces, primal aspects, primal forces in the universe. There's the worm, the weaver, and the wild. The wild is basically what affects the werewolves. They're it's nature basically. It's nature in all of its ferocity, in all of its beauty and its ferocity. So then there's the worm, which is basically death and anathema and
Decay.
decay. And then there's the weaver, which is order, and the weaver is represented by if you go into there's a dimension that lies right on top of
The
reality, which is
Umbra.
called the Umbra. And if you go into it, you can see the weaver, and you can see the weaver creatures, and they're basically spiders.
Well, they've also in the game, adding to the depression of it, the Weaver has been corrupted by the worm.
Right.
So I mean, that's the big storyline there. Is
It's yeah. It's
you're fighting a
basically
losing battle is basically what
yeah.
it is.
But the cool thing is like all technology is subject to the weaver, and so like I had this gun, like my character, he was a gunslinger, and he had a weaver spirit that was connected to his gun, and it would basically speed reload his gun for him. So when he would look through the Umbra at his gun and he was firing, this freaking spider is just like throwing bullets into the chambers as fast as it possibly can, and it's like, just, And then there was like there was the one time where we were going through the airport, like the customs, the metal detector, and someone looked into the Umbra, and there was a giant spider sitting up on top of the metal detector. And every time someone with metal in their pockets would go, the spider would literally go, ding, 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 ding. It's just a really cool, it's a really cool concept, and it's a really cool idea. But then they also came out with a card game for this as well. It was called Rage, and Rage was different from
Yeah,
it
it's
was
a
the
very
complete
different game.
opposite of Jihad. Rage, you could play an entire game in 20 minutes.
Yeah, because you're just like murdering everyone.
Yeah, it was like with Jihad or Eternal Struggle, whichever you want to call it. When you were playing the game, there was a lot of cards and stuff that would basically prolong the game. It was like a lot of political stuff. You would basically it was all designed to slow the game down.
Mhm.
Whereas with Werewolf, everything was designed to speed it up. Like everything was like, oh, you wanna do 3 times as much damage? Throw down this card, and it was like it was literally who could tear the other person apart first.
Mhm.
And if you did do, and again, but and unlike Jihad, unlike Eternal Struggle, you were not. It did not behoove you to make alliances because it was like the minute you put something out there, like holy crap, that's gonna hurt me bad. Like any semblance of a team up was gone. They were like, oh no, you're not allowed to have that because as soon as you kill him, you're coming after me.
Mhm.
So it was I like the way that they designed it because like I said, the Eternal Struggle slash Jihad was designed for people who were really invested in that gameplay and the long haul. Rage was just designed to like we said, just to tear each
Bring
other
it.
apart. That's like it was literally like, let's see who could kill each other the fastest. Boom, 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 and that was it. So it appealed to me a little more than Jihad did. But the thing that both of them had, and I've got some of it up here, the artwork.
Yeah.
The artwork for both games was fantastic. I mean, and that's one of the things I'm like because some of the pictures coming up here are the new Tribe books. The art, it's not bad, but it's nowhere near as good as the stuff that they used to have.
Yeah.
And but yeah, and like there was some like a lot of the artists who worked on those card games, man. They were like a lot of them were the same artists that worked on like Magic the Gathering.
Hmm.
So I mean, you're talking some top flight people, man. I know what's that guy's name? Oh my god, I'm completely crapping the bed here. Colin Hamner, who's actually a comic book artist. He did a lot of cards for both of those sets. And his art is I'm a big fan of his art. It's got a little bit of a minimalist feel to it, but it's much more detailed than it appears. But again, yeah, again, if you're into that kind of thing, if you're into that kind of a genre, Werewolf is a great game, especially if you're not into the whole political thing.
Yeah.
So the next one is actually one that I've played quite a bit of. I don't know how much Tom has played, and that is Call of Cthulhu.
It's been quite a while since I've actually sat and played it. Um, the downside to Call of Cthulhu is it's really easy to lose your character. I
It
mean,
is, and that's actually kind of the thing with that game. Um, like if you've played any of the video games, you know the tabletop game is exactly the same. You're not gonna win. You're literally fighting a losing battle where you're trying to cling to your sanity, and the best you can hope for is to die in your bed. You know, it's literally like there's no changing the outcome of the world. There's no stopping these things that exist and are out there. Again, like you're like if you're lucky enough to live your entire life and then die of old age in your bed, that's about as good as it's gonna get. There's no
mhm.
here there's no heroics to be had. Um, the thing that I really like about the game is it really encapsulates the entire idea behind the writings that Lovecraft did, which is there's no way you're gonna stop this.
Well, and it's also
Um,
one of those things where, yeah, your character can die. Your character can also go completely insane.
yep,
I mean, you're just like, yep, well, he's gone. He's just gone screaming out the door and running into the night.
yep. Like Arkham
And
Arkham Asylum exists in the game for a reason.
I mean, even just, I mean, the gameplay of it, because if you get hurt, you get hurt. I mean,
Oh yeah,
there's
and that's the
there's
that's the other thing too. Combat is deadly in that game.
yeah, you avoid it at all cost and try to hang on to your sanity, but between monsters beyond what man is meant to know and just your brain rebelling and leaving, your sanity just checking out, yeah, your character's yeah.
Yeah, it's
It
like I
is it
said.
is fun, but yeah, you're not gonna find that box of treasure and retire to your castle like in D&D. You're screwed as soon as you get involved. Yeah, you're kind of screwed.
Yeah, and it's exactly what you would think. I'm trying to center this, but it's not going to let me, so I'm just going to leave it. But basically, you exist in the world that Lovecraft made. You're an and the cool thing is you can pick a lot of different archetypes. You can pick like you're a private investigator, which is a really popular one. You're an academic. I played in a game one time where one of the guys was a naval officer. Um, but the long and short of it is you are involved in some kind of aspect of the investigation into some kind of a situation that brings you into contact with this world. And one of the most telling things is there's a passage and it says that when you become aware of this world, it becomes aware of you.
Mhm.
So it's part of that, the whole idea like ignorance is bliss. it's
Yep.
and it's actually sometimes once you know something, you can't unknow it. Excuse me. But and like I said, it's filled with all kinds of these just eldritch horrors and ancient beings that are just beyond man's comprehension. And the game literally makes you. And Tom's right. The game makes you keep track of your sanity. And if you're not careful, if you don't do things to help counteract the negative effect it has on your mind, you lose your mind. And when you lose your mind, you lose your character. You're done.
And also, it doesn't help that 90% of the time you're playing from like 1890 to like 1940 is the time period you're usually playing in. So yeah, like yeah, you don't have a Desert Eagle. You'd be lucky to have like a 38 caliber pistol.
Yep. Oh
I
yeah,
mean, that's
like he said, it's basically the time period the game's set in is Lovecraft's lifetime.
mhm.
So you're not gonna see any computers. You not like if you do any kind of investigation, you gotta go to like the library and you gotta look up books and it's
Yep.
it's old timey. And because of that, because of those limitations, it limits what you as a human being are capable of doing.
Oh yeah.
And
I
you
mean,
are a
yeah.
you are a human being. There is nothing superhuman about you.
If your character is out investigating something in the middle of the woods, you can't just pull out your cell phone
Yep.
and get GPS or make a call. If you want to make a call, I mean that time period, you like have to go to you have to find somebody,
Who owns
at
a
their
phone?
house who has a phone. I mean, at that point still a lot of places didn't have phones. If you lived in, even like in New York, if you lived in like a tenement building, there's probably one phone in the building. You
Yeah.
gotta like wait your turn and pay to use it.
Yeah, and and like you said, when it comes to combat, if you get hurt and you need medical attention, you better hope you're close to town,
Yep, because it's gonna
cause if
take
not,
forever to heal.
yep, and you're gonna die. And if you're out, like you said, if you're out in the middle of the woods and you get a severe injury, you're probably gonna die.
Yep.
So it's very much I would say it's almost a stealth game where you're
Yeah, you
trying
have to
to avoid
be.
detection as much as possible.
Yeah, and you have to, like I said, avoid combat as much as you can. It's one of those games where, like in D&D, you're like, all of a sudden you find yourself, you're in this room, you're walking through this room, and up on the balcony there's 10 orc archers and five more are barring your way out of the other side of the room. And one of the orcs says, surrender now. you're playing D&D, everybody's like, attack! Call of Cthulhu, you're like, well, crap. What do you want?
Yeah, pretty much. It's like, please don't kill us or turn us into something unnatural. But
Yep.
yeah, and if you're a big fan, like I said, I do love the game though, and which is odd because it is a much more cerebral game. So you would think like, well, why don't you like Vampire? And I just think it's the political aspect of Vampire that turns me off.
Well, political
But
and social. I mean,
yeah,
Call of Cthulhu, yeah, you're investigating. You're not you I mean, you could do a solo game of Call of Cthulhu, like you and a GM or you
yep,
running it for somebody. And yeah, it's a depressing game.
yeah, yeah. If you're into the genre, then I think it's worth a look. I think you might like it.
Oh yeah, it is
But
fun, but
okay. But we're going to move on from that, and we're actually going to get into some board games now. We're going to get into
dun, da-da.
Betrayal at House on the Hill. So
This is a fun game.
this is a really fun game, and it's a game that it might seem like it takes a long time, but it really doesn't. Like about an hour and a half is the longest I think we've ever played one, isn't it?
Yeah, about that. It doesn't take incredibly long, but yeah, when you're playing it, sometimes you're just like, the build up to it, which is random. There's a lot of random stuff that happens at like that chart where it just had the haunt chart.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically you and your friends are trapped in this old mansion and you're
It's
just
a
looking.
mystery gang.
Yeah, you're looking through this mansion and you're finding stuff, and then you'll walk into a room and pick something up, and the conditions are right, and the haunt starts.
Yep.
And it's not random, but it's one of those things like it's like playing Clue, like Colonel Mustard in the library with the wrench.
Right.
But what you do is once you get Colonel Mustard in the library with a wrench, then you look into the book, and there's this whole table that then you there are so many different ways for this game to end and to be played. It's really, and unfortunately, you also can have the game where you can't win. Like as
Yes.
soon as the
It,
haunt starts, you're like, we're screwed.
yeah, because basically the long and short of the game is you are a group of people. Some For whatever reason, maybe you're investigators or what have you. You are in this haunted house and you're locked in this house. And you're trying to figure out what's going on and how to get out. Unfortunately, once you do figure out what's going on and how to get out, that's when you find out that one of you is a traitor. That's why it's called Betrayal on the house of the house on the house on the hill. And and also once the traitor is revealed, that's when the supernatural aspect kicks in.
And that's the cool part is if you're the
Yeah.
betrayer, you get one set of instructions
Yep.
and then the team gets another set. And um sometimes your end game for the betrayer and the end game for the group are completely different. You
Oh
you can
yeah.
actually, I don't want to say both win because whoever gets to their achieves their goal first wins, but they can be completely different, or sometimes it's the same thing. Like the first one to find this ring.
Yep. First one to find this ring wins. But most of the time, uh, the outcome is for the good guys. If you don't stop X person from doing X thing, you're all gonna die, or the whole
Yeah.
world is gonna die, or what have you. And the cool thing about it is that every character is a little different. Every character has strengths and weaknesses, But as you go through the game, you collect items, you collect situations, you can even collect people,
Yeah.
and you can collect followers. And just like when you were trying to figure out what was going on, where you have to meet a certain set of stipulations to reach to actually get the haunting part of the game going, you have to do the same thing to be able to stop the bad guy.
Yeah, because
And
I mean, I've
even
played
when
games where
yeah, go ahead.
I've played games where like literally by the first time everybody has taken their first turn, the haunt starts.
Oh yeah,
So you got nothing and you are screwed. And there's other times where we've played for like more than half an hour and the haunt still hasn't started. And, we're just all getting beefier and beefier. And then the haunt starts and the person that's the betrayer is like, oh, uh,
well I'm
crap.
screwed.
I have to avoid you guys. I got to be smart about this in order to get to what I need to do,
Yeah,
and then there's other times where it's like, oh, the hunt started. Oh, the betrayer is the zombie king, and he gets like one zombie for each player, and then he gets all these different powers or whatever, and he just murders everybody because you're only in
yeah,
like three rooms, and you
yeah,
can go
and
into a room and not be able to get out of it.
yeah, and it's like, oh, the only thing that can kill him is this, and he
And we
has
don't
it.
have, or he has it, or we don't have it yet. So we
Yep,
have to keep exploring the house while being chased down by monsters now,
yeah.
trying to find the one item. And even if
So
you do find it, you still got to get it back to him. And it's a fun game.
yeah, and the whole idea behind it is that as you're built, you're literally building the house as you're playing. Every person turn as you take a turn, you come to doors. As you go through the door, you build a new piece of the house, and which is basically that's their way of explaining how you're exploring the house, because you're going, obviously you can't see it until you go into it. But the building, it changes every time, and every room does different things to you. It's just a really really cool game.
It's a
So
lot
and
of fun.
it's a lot of fun. It's a great party game. So the next one is a little different,
Yeah, this one is also fun. I've
yeah,
played this.
but it takes a while. Um, basically, for the long and short of it, it's Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
it's
you're at camp.
literally, yep, you're a camp counselor, you're at camp, and a crazed mass killer comes out and it wants to kill you. So, and as you can see pictures of the game board here. The game board is huge.
Yeah.
I mean, it's absolutely huge. And the killer is like there's so many different situations and things that happen, and so many things that have, like, you have to be able to do X, Y, and Z to stop the killer. And the
Well,
cool
this
thing
is it
about
is
it is,
you. Yeah, it takes place over like the game itself actually takes place over like 3 or 4 days because you start at night
yep,
where the killer is
at his
tracking
strongest.
you,
Yep.
and then it goes to the daytime where if you can corner the killer during the daytime, you win. But then it goes back to night, and yeah,
It,
it's a fun game.
it's a fun game, but I don't think we've ever played one to completion.
Yeah,
I
we did.
I
I,
haven't. I know I haven't. And
I
I've only played this like 2 or 3 times. It's fun. It's a lot of fun,
yeah.
but it's long. It's because it's literally you're playing. You're literally, it's constantly posturing.
Mhm.
You're like, because like you said, at night you're trying to stay away from the killer
And you
while
don't know
still
where he
while,
is.
while still uncovering the different mysteries and things that happen, and like getting stronger so that when daytime does come, you can find him and take him out.
Hmm.
So it's this game of it's almost like a game of cat and mouse mixed with attrition.
Oh yeah, it is, and it is. I mean, and the mechanics of the game are really good too. Um, because the killer has to secretly, that's what the big GM screen there is for. The killer keeps track of his position, and then he has like funky movement rules too.
Yeah.
Like if you're a if you're a regular player, like there's a lake in the middle, you can't swim in the lake. You have to go to a dock where the boat is and take it to another dock. But he can just like move like right through the lake.
Yeah. Like I
Um,
said, he's basically Jason. He can suddenly appear behind you.
yeah, and you can like one of the things in the game is you can turn on lights. You can leave like lanterns places or turn on lights in cabins. But then when the light goes out, that's when you know that he was there when the light went out.
Yeah.
And then
But you
so
don't know where
there's
he is.
yeah, you knew that he was there during that movement sequence, but he could have been right next to it when he started. He could have ended there.
Yeah.
The
And that's
the
the thing. That's the thing. You never know where he is unless you're
well,
close to
unless somebody
him.
dies,
Well,
then you're
unless
like,
somebody
oh,
dies, or you have, or you drop it like Tom said, you drop a lantern and it illuminates the area. And if he's in the area, you see him.
yeah. And you can also you can set booby traps, and if the traps go off, you know that he was there. It's it's a lot of fun. It's definitely a very cerebral game,
Yep.
and it's one of those games where you're like, okay, we all have to stick together to survive, but we have to break up and search the place and get stuff
Yeah.
to survive.
Yeah. It's one of those things where it's like, if you all stay together, yes, you're stronger together, but you're not going to cover ground very fast, and you need to cover ground to find things
Hmm.
and to locate him. Because if you're all together, he's just going to stay away from you until it's time for him to hit you. So it's one of those things where it's like, don't go too like we need to split up, but let's try not to go too far. But
Hmm.
the way the game's set up, and like when he comes after, he's like, it's literally it's literally like he shows up and and you're trying to run away from him, and to get away from him because of where he's positioned, he sends you further and further away from the rest of the people.
And then once you're on your own, you're screwed.
Yeah, if he stays on you, man, you're done. But yeah, it's a really cool game. But yeah, those are the games that we came up with. Now, obviously, there's a whole slew of tabletop and RPG
Horror games.
horror games. See here, tabletop. Just to give you an idea of some of the ones that we didn't go over. Um, there's like, oh yeah, there's like Deadlands.
Yeah.
Um, there's was it Zombies, which is like like the tabletop miniature game.
Oh yeah, the whole Zombicide.
Yeah, Zombicide. There's Arkham
Yeah, those are
Horror.
fun.
That's one that's pretty popular. I know there's a game that I have that I've always wanted to play. It's basically designed for one shots. It's called All Flesh Must Be Eaten. It's basically a zombie survival horror game. Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the RPG
Yeah.
game. The guys played
That was a
that.
lot of fun. Yeah, that we had a really good time playing that. It's the only game where I've defeated somebody with a car lock because
um,
I was playing the Giles character. I was the watcher,
right, right.
and then the big bad for that week, whatever it was had another uh, had the guy behind the group of monsters, and
Yeah,
so the monsters were like fighting everybody else, and then it was like me and that guy, and he wasn't a fighter either, and I like ran to a car and I got there before him. I just locked the door and he couldn't get in to get me. I was like, yeah, there you go.
yeah. There's
And if you run away,
also
I'll just run you down. So,
yeah. There's also Shadowrun can have horror elements in it. Ravenloft and D&D
oh
is
yeah,
a
it's all
um
about vampires.
yep, pretty much. Last Night on Earth. Fear Itself. I mean, there's tons and tons and tons of them. But these are the ones that we've played the most and the ones that we actually have enjoyed the most. So, but yeah, like if you like in the comments, once this video posts, in the comments, throw out any of them that you guys have watched or that you guys have seen.
Or played and just love,
because yeah, we're always looking for new stuff. it's you know, like I said, there's so many of them out there. But yeah, that's about all we've got this week. Like to appreciate. But I appreciate you guys, everyone being here. I want to thank everyone who showed up today. Diller Draws, appreciate you dropping by, man. As always, you can find us right here. Usually every Tuesday, unless I get sick or something. At 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But yeah, if you liked what you saw today, guys, please hit like and subscribe. Like right now, YouTube is going through their another culling phase. A lot of channels are losing subscriptions. I know we lost 3 of them over the last couple of days. YouTube does this pruning thing where they go through, and if there's accounts that haven't really done a whole lot through this certain amount of time, they'll just nix them. They'll just kill them. And hit like, subscribe, share the channel out. But more importantly, leave a comment. Let us know what you guys think. Let us know of, and like I said, any of the games that we talked about, what you think about them, any games that you guys played. Let us know. It's all greatly appreciated, and like I said, it all helps the channel grow. But I'm going to go ahead and end it there, and until next week, we will see you guys later.
Bye-bye.
Have a good night.